Tax planning. It is a critical part of a retirement plan, yet it is so frequently overlooked. We are so excited to be joined by Michigan's retirement coach, Mike Douglas. Mike is the president of LifePlan Financial Design. It's a local area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. Mike is also a popular podcast host. And Mike, we talk about taxes a lot, but I think it's because it's such a big topic that we have to address. Let's talk about why addressing taxes is so important for your retirement.
Because taxes are an inevitability, right? We have to pay taxes. It's part of what we do, and yet we don't want to do it. We want to not pay. Whenever people say, what strategies do we have? I just don't want to pay taxes. That's not a strategy. That's illegal. Right. But what we have to do is minimize that. If we can look at how much over your course of your life, think about how many years we've worked and how many years we're going to work, or if people are retired, how many years you've put into this thing, and then as you live on the money, what do you have to pay in taxes? How much over your next 20 years are you going to pay $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in taxes? Can we shrink that number with some good planning? That's the question.
Yeah, and I think the answer is yes. Let's talk about, maybe going to a lower tax bracket. Is that a possibility for people?
So tax brackets, the only way to go lower tax brackets in our regular income system is to have less income. We don't want to do that, right? If I'm earning $100,000 or $200,000 on June 30th, and then I retire July 1st, I'm not looking to take a major pay cut. I want to live and do my things that I wanted to do. But what we can decide is, looking at the tax code, looking at where taxes are going in the future, looking at our national debt, looking at a lot of different things, where do we think taxes will be in the future, and should we make some intentional decisions today to take advantage of low tax rates? Right now, taxes are at historically low rates, lowest rate since the Great Depression. So we may want to consider paying more in taxes this year to stock up tax-free money for the future.
Okay, wonderful. And let's talk about, can we get our retirement income without paying income taxes?
That's tough, right? So there's different types of money that we have in our accounts. Think about when you retire, you may have a pension if you're lucky, right? You have your Social Security, and then you have to pull from your investments to supplement it. Well, depending on the type of investments determines how it's taxed. If you have a 401k, every dollar you ever take out will be taxed as ordinary income. If you have a Roth IRA, well, then if you've had that money 5 years, it's never taxed as the laws are written today. If you have just some stocks that you bought, well, then they're taxed as a long-term capital gain or short. So there's all these different rules, and yet you are supposed to be the one to decide where and when to take money. So the different types of accounts can help us determine what we pay in taxes. There's a reason why the richest CEOs and the richest people across the country pay about 20% total in taxes at the most, because they use a very intentional strategy that actually we help a lot of clients use today. We can help people say, I don't want to pay 24, 38, whatever the number is. I want to pay about 20% in taxes. With the right type of money and the right type of planning, that can be done.
Right. And planning, I think, is the key word here, is that this is something that you really need to be intentional about before you retire. Let's talk about what kind of savings we're talking about if you're planning and doing this correctly.
Yeah, over the course of a lifetime. It's a lot of money. If the average person retires with, let's say, $500,000 in their 401k, and you live 25 to 30 years, you're probably paying $200,000 to $300,000 in taxes on $500,000. Well, if we can do a few small things and get that number lower to 100 or 150,000, that's just more money in your family's pocket. Again, and not everything, we're not going to spend every dollar. Some people say they want their last check to bounce, and I get that. But right. For a lot of people, they say, I want some of this left for my kids. And more importantly, I'd rather it go to my kids than the government. So it's just about making good strategies for your family that will make sense.
Wonderful. And talk about why, I think a lot of times people overlook taxes. They don't bury their head in the sand. Why does this happen?
Because we hate them. And that's the bottom line, right? If you think about around your house, there's chores that we have to do, chores that we enjoy, chores that we hate, right? I'd rather mow the lawn twice than dust once, right? That's what I would rather do.
Fair.
And so I will do anything I can to avoid dusting. I'll pay my kids to do it rather than dust myself. So there's things we just hate doing. And taxes is that thing for pretty much everybody. We hate dealing with taxes. I don't want to pay them, but I have to. So I just shove some statements to my CPA and say, make this thing go away. That's a very reactive way to deal with taxes. Yet at the same time, if we go through and figure out that I can make a few decisions that'll change my family's future as far as taxes go, that's a good conversation to have. We just have to be open to talking about the tough things.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to change that mindset a little bit. Let's think about taxes, because we want to think about putting more money in our pocket instead of giving more money away.
Yeah.
And you like to work with taxes to do that, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty nerdy stuff, right? But at the end of the day, and so it's hard to talk about in a fun way. But what the most important thing is when we can sit down and show you, you know what? you're about to retire or you're retired. If you live another 25, 30, 35 years, and you've earned all this money, again, like how many years have you worked to earn this money? And yet we can make a few decisions over the next 2 to 3 years while taxes are low. And as a result, you save $200,000 to $300,000 in taxes. Well, it's not just the $200,000 to $300,000 you save. How many years did it take you to earn that $200,000 to $300,000? I mean, in your 401k, that's 10 years probably of saving and working. We don't want to give back 10 years of work just because I didn't want to talk about it. Have the conversations and leave the money to your kids, not the government, or spend every bit of it. But either way, your hands and your kids' hands are better than the government's hands.
Absolutely. And so you are the guy to talk to make sure that we're keeping as much of that money as possible. So let's get planning. If you want to make sure that your retirement plan factors in taxes and you're not giving all your money away to the government, Mike has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers that have saved $500,000 or more, he is offering a complimentary retirement roadmap just for you. Mike and his team will sit down with you personally and provide you with this roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then talk about the best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. It is a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call is 616-253-6162. Again, that number is 616-253-6162.